All right, so I know I jumped from doing pieces of the exhaust to the actual, to this piece here. I just had a really hard time figuring out a lot of the angles, but I got it. So let me kind of go through here, because a lot of I'm just trying to figure it out. And so this is going to be the driver's side, the left side here. So this is the downpipe. Here's the two bungs. This is my, whoa, hold on. This is my regular driving. This is my tuning for the AFR. Same thing. Top one is regular driving, and then tuning for the AFR down there. So this is the downpipe here, and I bought flanges. So here's the flange. It comes here to a slip joint, and this goes over the cross member for the transmission. It's right here, and then it goes lined up. And I just used some brackets that I took out of the swap that I wasn't using in the Durango anymore. And so what I do is I have a rubber insulator that goes between this and the cross member. Here's another slip joint. So then it goes up and over another cross, the other cross member, and then goes into the X pipe. So kind of what my strategy was is I use a lot of these slip joints for adjustability, like distance here, maybe some turn. And once I got everything right, then I would tack them in. And so I kind of use them for that. See, like here is a slip joint, because this piece, I needed this piece because I don't have a flare machine. So the one that was on there, I cut it and then I slip jointed it on. And here I just welded that one on. Horrible welding. So we'll talk about the welding in a little bit, but slip joint there, tighten it up. Another slip joint here is where we can maneuver all these curves and stuff. So I use those for adjustability. The ones that I'm keeping slip joints are going to be this one and this one. Okay. So everything is detachable, right? So if I need to work on, here's the transfer case and transmission. If I need to work on there, I can just unbolt, take it apart, and then unbolt here and there. All right, so if you see this here, I was having a hard time welding this, and some parts I kept blowing through the middle, some parts I wasn't. So I had to put a patch on here to cover up the holes. So this just sits on top, so you're not gonna see it. But yeah, so I had a hard time with the welding being consistent. So as we come to the X pipe, here's some other hangers that I use with different brackets. Here's got some, this goes into the little hanging rubber. Okay, the factory ones are right here. They mount up here, the little hangers. So this slips into the rubber hanger. This bolts to the side where the heat shield is. There's a bolt there. Okay, these are not fastened, but these are slip jointed too, because I need adjustment for this to build the part that comes over the rear axle. I haven't done that yet. So far that is what it is. And then there's two pipes that sit over here right now that are still in the car. They're on the hanger. There's two hangers here, like right here, that slip into that. And then from there is I'll build the one over the axle. That's kind of it, right? So and yeah. The welding, I just had a hard time. Like, so when I would weld around certain spots, it'd blow through. Some spots wouldn't, so I had to get some good welds. And then sometimes you could see like a little pinhole in the weld. You don't know, I couldn't tell if it was gone through the exhaust. So I would put a little weld on top of that. So that's why everything looks kind of like big. So I put little spot welds on top of things that maybe look like it had a pinhole just for leaking purposes. Yeah, so what I did with welding is I tried to like go one pipe, let's say, do a little stitch weld, like in a star pattern, right? You know, first I tacked everything all the way around, like a couple inches apart. And then I would stitch weld some of those tacks together, but in like a star pattern. Then I move over and work something else, or go back. So like a lot of stitch welding was meeting up with each other. Yeah, first exhaust I've ever done. Yeah, so then the bungs, I try to angle them. I try to angle them up a little bit so they're kind of more facing down. The one mistake I did make is on these is I shouldn't have put them on this side because of condensation, and I forgot about that. But also too is when these are in the car, you're looking at where's the room at and the easiest way to get to them, because these bottom ones are for tuning, so you're going to be constantly putting in one, putting the cap back on, you know, and taking them apart and stuff like that. So and then I bought new bolts. Bolts are expensive, so I bought new bolts and I just tacked the nut on, and then I tacked the washers on the other side. And the reason why I'm saying I had the washers is because the flange bolt was $13 a bolt. The bolt without the flange was $3 a bolt, and I had to buy 12 of them, and so $60 or so compared to 100 or something bucks. So I just tacked the washer on and it's all good. And I put the bolt where the bolt comes out. I put that on the easiest way to access it, right? So what I'm thinking on this too is after I get all the rear end done, I was thinking about making this to this as one piece and just tacking these in and welding them in, or just use those pinch clamps, I guess, because if I really want to change the mufflers out, I can. I don't know yet. This rear end part I haven't designed yet, so I'm gonna leave these a little loose. Not loose, I mean, but just not secured in. All right, and then I'll get back with you. So also too, this is what I want to talk about. So this is the side, the driver's side is where like all the lines come through, a lot of wiring comes through. So I built a heat shield on the passenger side because obviously the stock exhaust doesn't come all the way here. It usually goes across. So, and I'll show that later, but I'm going to heat wrap this, just this pipe, probably about like right here, to protect that. Okay, and same thing on that side, just to protect stuff, keep heat out of those areas. But I didn't want to heat wrap the pipe because water gets in there and it can rust. Like these ones, it's not going to be near the ground, so I'm not worried about water settling in there like on these horizontal pipes. I would think that is where I'm at. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully it all goes together. I'll put all the gaskets in and anti-seize and little bolts. I'll show you guys when I get it in. Okay, so here's the down pipe on the driver's side. So as you can see, I wrapped it to help protect all those brake lines and stuff there, fuel line going through there, wiring, that right there. I lost my bung plug, so coolant temp sensor fit, so I can get one tomorrow. And then as you come through here, I'm using my phone because GoPro died. So it goes through here, over this cross member, right? And then it goes across here in front. Here's the transfer case. This is heat shield that I use, and also too is here's heat shield that I used. And same thing on the firewall. Just screwed it into a couple places. Got the fuel lines and wiring behind here, and it'll help protect the floor. And then let's see, let me get over here. See, there's more of that heat shield there. And then there's the heat shield here. Under this is where the actuator is that changes 2 high, 4 high, all-wheel drive. So here's my rubber insulators in between, my brackets to hold. I mean, I don't like this. That's the rubber because it's sticky on the back, so it just keeps it sticky. But there's that, and then it routes here and over this cross member. Now it connects to the X pipe, right? And then this one, the same thing over there is I have the down pipe. It's wrapped most of the way. Has 2 bung holes. 2 bungs for load 2 in the AFR. There's my flanges. Don't ignore the welds. And then it comes straight all the way here. Then it arches and comes over the cross member there. Attaches here. Here's this bracket with the rubber insulator here. And then here's where it hangs. This bracket hooks in here and hangs. Evens it out. There's the mufflers. I have not secured these ones yet because I haven't figured out the tailpipe part yet. And if you look, I gotta go, sorry, all this twisting, so I gotta go up and around the axle. And when you go around the axle, you gotta go between, oh, let me take this pipe off. That's the height I have to go over, but see, when you go here, I have to go between those 2 right there, right? So, and then out in between the leaf spring. So it's quite a turn. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet, but for right now, it's kind of where I'm at. Okay, so here's the end of the exhaust where it comes over the axle. So there's plenty of room for axle travel, and as you come over the axle, which I'm gonna bring you under the axle, this is the sway bar. The sway bar should travel up into there instead of this. It's not going to travel this way. It'll travel up away from this. Hopefully that is it. And then so they come over and they kind of have to twist. It's just the way the geometry is and the angles that I actually had. So I'd make a bunch of pie cuts. I did buy a different saw for that. So it comes out the rear end. You're gonna see here's the slip joint. So if I want to take it off, here's a hanger here. And then let's see if I can get you flipped around here. And there's a hanger there. So to center this, if I need to, because on the rear end, if you know, this is meant for 1 2-inch pipe, these are 2.5s. So if I need to bend it a little bit to torque it, I can do that. But I'm happy with it. The only thing that I would change would be probably some of those little flecks flexing joints up there on the downpipe, so there's no breaking of bolts and things when the motor torques. Other than that, that's what I will change.